Hey everybody, it's Marshall Monkey here, and we have to talk about something very important for San Diego Comic-Con 2018, and that's DC's Slate. Now, I was on Twitter the other day talking about how excited I was for Aquaman, but I think that Aquaman should be kept simple. Now, I'm talking about this in my coverage video for Aquaman 2. You can go check out that video right now. But I wanted to talk about how simple the DCEU should be. So I was talking about that on Twitter, and then some troll came along and said that the slate is already laid out. You got Aquaman coming up this year, and then next year you got Shazam and 1984, Wonder Woman, right? Wrong. All right, let me explain to you what a slate is. A slate is a list of current films in development with certain names attached to them, such as writers and or directors. There are multiple DCEU films right now with those names. All right, and they are not on a slate. That is what a slate is. If you don't know what a slate is, I can't help you. And this person obviously didn't know what that was. But we're going to talk about the slate because it's very important and why they should update it, because it's just all over the place. I mean, they have movies that are announced that aren't even going to happen for sure, like Deadshot. What? Why would Deadshot have a movie? Not going to happen, right? I'm starting to think Justice League Dark's not going to happen either. We'll talk about some of those things maybe in future videos. But anyway, the DCEU Slate, why it should become a thing at Comic-Con. Well, you already have everybody's attention. Marvel's not going to be there because, they don't really have to be. That's the whole point of why they're not there this year. So Warner Brothers has all of it. I mean, they have the Conjuring stuff laid out and they have the DCEU stuff. So why not dominate even further and release a slate with new logos, right? I mean, new film logos like Birds of Prey coming up, because there's apparently huge news that's supposed to break tomorrow for that movie. Credit to Grace Randolph, who said she had sources on that. I'm going to do a video about that if that news does break. But yeah, I mean, it's just really exciting to see those new logos, right? Those release dates. I think it would be a great idea to kind of start throwing those out there, just because it would start. It would kind of give the DCEU some new credibility, right? They don't have a lot of that right now, with the whole Justice League mess and now the two Joker films. I mean, it's turned into a laughingstock at this point, and I think that new credibility with the new DCEU slate with movies on there would be a good idea. Now, what are the movies that need to be on this slate? Well, according to the films that they have in development right now, the movies that should be on this DCEU slate should be Suicide Squad 2, because that has Gavin O'Connor on it, and then Flashpoint, or whatever Flash movie they're doing, we'll talk about that in a second, and that has the Vacation writers on there, Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley, so they're on that movie. Then you should also have The Batman with Matt Reeves, right? That is an important one. And then David S. Goyer was on Green Lantern Corps, so I don't know if he's still doing that, but if so, he needs to have that movie on there as well. Then the Nightwing with Chris McKay needs to be on there, and then Birds of Prey with what's her name? Who's writing the movie? Kathy Yang, is that? No, that's not her name. But I don't know. I don't remember her name. But she's writing the script and I think directing as well, or maybe just directing. Not really sure on that one. But those are some of the movies that should be on there. And I might have missed one or two. If I did, comment down below, so I'd like to know what those are. But those are the ones off the top of my head that I can remember. But one of the movies that I think should be a priority for the DCEU to definitely get on the board would have to be The Batman. I mean, that is a huge film. It already has Matt Reeves on it. He's been on that film for a while. You need to answer the Ben Affleck question. I mean, that's what I said in my DCEU chapters 2 and 3 video, is that you need to answer whether or not Ben Affleck's going to return as the character. It's just really important that you get that out there. I mean, they need good press, and that would be a good move to do. Batman sells, and Batman gets everyone talking, right? I mean, if you make a Batman announcement, everyone will talk about it. I mean, it'll be all over Twitter, right? And all over everything, all over any media. So that needs to be a priority for the DCEU, to get Batman up in center, up front again, right? I mean, it's just a priority for them, or it should be, instead of two Joker films, am I right? And then, of course, let's talk about the slate. Now, this is obviously not the current slate. I mean, you have Deadshot, Cyborg, you have all these other things on there. Black Adam, which I don't even know if we're getting. But let's talk about Flashpoint, because I said we were going to talk about that. Flashpoint is Flashpoint. I mean, this troll on Twitter said that they're not doing the Flashpoint movie, that they announced that they're not doing it, right? Daly and Goldstein don't want to anymore. They want to do a Back to the Future thing. I know that, okay? You don't think I don't know that? I've been following the DCEU for years, okay? I freaking know that they're doing that. But here's the thing. That could easily be a front, right? I think that Daly and Goldstein aren't incredibly absent-minded, right? They did Game Night. Game Night actually did pretty well. And Vacation, not so much. But I think that they are smart. Listen to me. If, and I say if, Ben Affleck wants out of the DCEU, and that's a very highly, it's a very likely decision for him. And of course, Henry Cavill has a lot of rumors that he's leaving the DCEU due to wages, right? Due to the Warner Brothers not wanting to pay him with what he thinks he's worth. So if both of those actors, if Cavill and Affleck choose to leave, what film do you think they're going to use to recast those characters? Do I even have to say, do I have to say Flashpoint? That is obviously the movie they're going to use to recast, right? And they can easily rewrite, because Flashpoint's not even on the board yet in terms of release. So they can easily use it to recast. Now, what movie do I also think should be fast-tracked? Nightwing. Now, I know that Nightwing wasn't on my DCEU chapters video. Man of Steel 2 should also be fast-tracked, but I think with Henry Cavill's wage thing going on with Warner Brothers, it'll be harder to do. But with Nightwing, you have Chris McKay, who is very, very excited to make this movie. Or at least he has been, with what he's been saying in the past about finding the right actor and all that, right? But he has the same passion for this character in this movie that David F. Sandberg has for Shazam, Patty Jenkins has for Wonder Woman 1984, and James Wan has for Aquaman. So why don't you put his character up in center, right? I don't understand why the DCEU has to do a Joker film and then Warner Brothers has to do a separate Joker film outside of the DCEU when you have Nightwing, Man of Steel. We're not going to get into that because I made a whole video about it, but I just don't understand, right? But to be honest, at the end of the day, the slate would be very helpful for everybody wanting to look up for new credibility for the DCEU. Like I said, Nightwing, Suicide Squad 2, Birds of Prey, Man of Steel doesn't have a writer or director attached to it, but still, they can do that one. Then you should put that on there. Green Lantern Corps, The Batman, right? These are movies that need to have release dates. And I think that they should get on that. But what do you guys think about the DCEU slate? Should there be a new slate with new logos at Comic-Con this year? Or would you prefer them releasing it sometime down the line? Comment down below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Each one is appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys later for some more DCEU videos. Bye-bye.